Trading. I'm your host, Baloo the Bear. I'm bearish on the market right now. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. At least the indicators that we hold in high regard are flashing some warning signs. So we're definitely going to dive into that. We're also going to talk about the altcoin positions that we've been in. Lots to cover, and I'm joined here with the one and only Matt McGregor. How are you doing, mate? How you going?
Good morning, mate. Good morning. Feels good. I agree with you about the price of Bitcoin. I'm not bullish yet. And I'm short all those positions in the altcoins, which were really good and then was really bad. And now it's probably break even. I'm not sure. So can't wait to review it.
Right on. Do you want to kick us off or should I?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm going to start on the weekly time frame. Look, 2 weeks ago, we had a really, really positive weekly close above the 7 simple moving average. And we have done that again. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Last week could have gone either way for me. With the start of the week, we came and threw back down and tested on the 7 simple absolutely perfectly, and then made our way all the way up to 118. It was looking quite strong. But I'm still not bullish yet, unfortunately, on Bitcoin, simply because that wave has turned red, and that the wave has turned red back a few weeks ago now. This to me has got a lot of the hallmarks of a breakdown, and then a retest of the breakdown point, and then a rolling over. And it doesn't mean I have to be right about that. In fact, I'm would be terribly satisfied to be wrong, and the price just kicks off and we get above 120 and up and away forever. But I'm just not there yet. I'm not sold on the idea yet, and some of the lower time frames, I'll show you why as well. Let's just go through a few of the oscillators. This one, of course, is the Copic curve. It is still on its pathway down. It is slightly rounding a little bit, but you want to be buying this thing when it's with momentum, when it's cracking through the zero line and it's looking like a really good rocket ship, not when it's looking like this. This is the opposite inverse, really, of what we look for. The RSI, which I called this out so many times about the divergence on the RSI on the weekly time frame. Everybody laughed at me. They were laughing, spitting in my face, and now it turned out to be spot on. It still hasn't shown me nothing yet to make me excited on the RSI. It's following perfectly on track there. The MACD is still completely showing negative down and more downside. Like this, where we haven't rounded this at all. It doesn't look like it's coming back strong green just yet. I don't know. I'm not positive on the weekly time frame, and I'll just reiterate the fact I would be more than happy to be wrong. The daily time frame, which I'm on right now, you can see this is really clear. This rollover that we're experiencing right now. On the show we did, I think it might have been the last show I was on here with you, Baloo. The price was on this candle here. It was the 1st of September, I believe, and on that candle, I specifically said that this is a daily 9. I see a really good chance here for a buy. Even if it only gets to one of the 7 simple moving average is what I said on the show, because we were respecting the 7 simple, and the price was down at about 107, 10 something like that, 108, and I said buy. That's a buy. And it turned out, and Tone said it that night on our show on the Financial Summit Network. He said that's a buy for him, and it turned out to be a really good buy, a really good rally off that the low there that we put in. Fantastic, right? 10%. But I think it looks like it's run its course now. It wasn't able to get above the mid part of this channel that we were in for so long. It's actually come back up to where the channel broke, which you can see. This is the channel that I drew in, and that's about the price in the vicinity of where the channel broke. It's rolling over as it stands right now. I still stand by that statement. The 4 hour, I pointed this out really clearly on Friday's show I did with Tone. I said, just take note of alphanumerics for a second here. When we're just look at the moving averages and the structure of the moving averages. When the price goes bullish, we use the moving averages as support all the way up. And then when the price is going down, we use the moving averages as resistance all the way up. And once again, you can see another good example of that in the last few weeks, where we've used the moving averages, the 50, the 30, the 7 as support and resist as a support all the way up. And on Friday's show, when we did it, the price was sitting on about 116, and I said I'm seeing this roll over, and then we'll start to use this as resistance rather than support, these moving averages. And that's exactly what happened over the weekend. In fact, we dropped through the moving averages after I said it, and then we came back up to use them as support. This is as clear cut a short trade as you'll see, for all those reasons I just pointed out, and we're in the process now of going lower as we speak. So I'm satisfied with that. Now look, just to go back to the weekly to finish off my Bitcoin rant, I never view this as a bad thing. Okay, I mean, like it can turn into a really bad thing. It can turn into a really bad thing, like if it does something as awful as like it has done in the past, where the price totally collapses. I look for it more as opportunity. So with the wave being red, I start to like really focus in on looking for a great opportunity to buy. Now, whether that's off the 50 simple moving average, like it was back here when the wave was red, it respected the 50 simple and rallied tremendously after that. Or if you get like a 3-day or a weekly green diamond, whatever it might be, I'm not afraid of a red wave. I look at it as an opportunity to get a great position. I'm throwing it back to you now, brother, in the studio. That's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin as it stands. Any thoughts?
Yeah. My analysis. So there was a really big expectation for bullish price action as a result of the Fed cut. And I was saying the whole way up into that meeting, it's a crowded trade. It's a crowded trade. It's a crowded trade. It's likely priced in. Now there's two parts to that. First, the Fed rate cut was priced in. Everybody was expecting the cut. What the market wasn't expecting was a roadmap for multiple cuts throughout the year. So there is like bullish fundamentals, and I think that's the perfect recipe for a trap. And I think the market needs a little bit of a washout, a little bit of a holy shit, what's going on type moment to take place. And a move down to sub 100K Bitcoin, I think would scare the shit out of a lot of people. And I think, the market is this fickle bitch that just likes to torture the most amount of people possible, particularly if you're new. If this is your first cycle, like this is nothing new to us. Bitcoin does 30% pullbacks multiple times throughout a bull market. But we haven't seen one of those big washout events yet. And so far, with the evidence it seems to be collecting here, the transition of that red wave, the alphanumerics indicator flipping to red, so far seems to be a good signal. And I think the probability of a washout is probably over 50%. I think I'd be looking at a probability of a washout of around 60%. I'm still relatively neutral. I'm still, if we come down and let's say we test the 30 on the daily chart or something like that and bounce off, I think that would be a good sign, because that would be a higher low. And, now we have a cause that's been built for us to take out some of the highs. But sentiment is a really big thing. And I think because so many people were so bullish and so optimistic on a rate cut, I can't help but think that that bullish sentiment needs to be punished. That bullish optimism of a rate cut needs to be punished for us to head to higher levels. That's my thoughts. Before I get into the technicals of and taking a look at the altcoins, just want to remind you guys to go and check out. This is a new promotion here with Bitget. Now, this is first come, first serve. I don't know how much money is in this pool, as far as how many participants can get a $500 cash, but I think it's like 100 people can get this. So this is in conjunction with our trading competition, which I'll cover in just a moment. But this is for first-time Bitget users. So if you've never traded on Bitget, if you create a brand new Bitget account, the trading competition is for pre-existing Bitget users. But if you've never traded on Bitget and you create a brand new Bitget account, KYC, and make a deposit and trade, you can get a $500 cash bonus sent directly to your account. Bitget's being very generous these days with trying to get people into their platform. And of course, we have the trading competition, which has 48 days left. Still plenty of price action ahead of us for you to place in this. The nice thing about this trading competition is a lot of people, already know what I'm going to say. You're basically competing against 20 people. The 20th position here is at 0%. So if you can make more than, 0% in a trading competition, then you have pretty good odds at least walking away with some money here on this trading competition. So definitely check out the links. I'll flash a QR code for you guys to take a look at that. So yeah, scan the QR code and get entered into the competition so that you can win up to $5,000. It's a 1 in 20 chance. You have very good odds of getting that top prize. All right. Now the alts are a little bit different. I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin dominance here. And what's been very interesting about where we are with the market is I've been neutral bearish with Bitcoin, and I've been optimistic about alts. And some of the alt positions that we've taken have done over 20% moves in a week, 30% moves in a week. There's still a lot of momentum going towards the altcoins. And I personally have never seen this before, where I am bearish on Bitcoin and bullish on alts. That's never happened. But, this is the chart that I'm focusing on, and this is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance continues to print these weekly red candles week after week, trending to new lows. Now, it does look like it's finding maybe a tentative floor, so we could see a little bit of a retreat out of the alts, and your shorts could get juiced up there, Matt. But overall, I've been a lot more optimistic on the position that altcoins are in. And this kind of ties into what we kind of expect with a potential washout in Bitcoin. If this is looking like a bullish kind of setup here on Bitcoin dominance, if it trends up, that would be in the context of a washout on Bitcoin. But here's the thing. I'm not calling a bear market. I'm not calling a bearish trend. I'm calling a washout. And what I expect after that is a V-shaped recovery, a rebound, and the fundamentals of those multiple Fed rate cuts to take effect on the market and lead us into the new all-time highs, the next level up in the market. And I think that the altcoins are really well positioned to be a beneficiary of that type of environment. What are your thoughts, Matt?
No, I agree completely. I completely agree. I'm not bearish on the rest of the year or even into next year for Bitcoin. I'm just bearish at now for a washout.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the market just needs a little bit of a reset. This happens multiple times in a bull market. You'll get this washout. It's healthy. I know it's scary. And if you're, new to crypto, this ain't the stock market. You're not going to see a 5% pullback. You're going to see a 30% pullback, and they can be frightening. But it's healthy. That's how Bitcoin gets to the next level. It's never going to get to 200K until it has like a significant washout, in my opinion. Historically speaking, that's what we've needed to see. Every large impulse to the upside needs that move to the downside. And that kind of ties into what you were saying, Matt. You don't look at these red waves as anything bearish. You look at them as opportunities.
Right.
So given what would be a buy for you? Are you buying a green diamond on the daily? Are you buying a 3? Are you holding out for a weekly? What do you want to see for a good buy here on Bitcoin?
Well, first of all, when the wave turns green again. So that's the basic point. So that's dropping down over the weeks. I just don't want to be in a position where I'm taking 300 trades during a 3-month red wave period that I get cut to shreds. I'm just not trading because the wave's red, unless the wave turns green again, or I see a 3-day or a weekly green diamond. It's very simple, really. And I don't know, the probability of getting like a weekly green diamond is pretty low, very, very, very low. It's unlikely to do so, but I might see something on a lower time frame. Do you know what I mean? Like I might see a daily, green diamonds. Who knows? But as it stands right now, nothing is exciting me about the price.
Yeah. It's kind of it's one of those environments where you just got to take a break, and people like you and I, we know that these red wave periods, they're just a time to chill, and recalibrate and look at the market, because when there is going to be a high liquidity event, whether that high liquidity event results in a break of the SAR, which is currently at 122, which is from our initial exit. It's a 10% move from our exit. I don't care about giving up 10% if it means that I can just chill, reset, look at the market, and position for the next move. And this is this week. Next week, it's going to be at a lower price. The week after that, it's going to be at a lower price, and it just gets closer and closer to our entry.
Go back to the previous red wave, and look where. Yeah. And look where we broke. That wave turned red, which is probably it's higher than that line. Yeah, probably about there.
Yeah, right? I think it's here. Yeah,
exactly right. And then to get back in, see, I would even be. Yeah, go ahead, mate. You finish that thought.
It's 3%, 3%, but you avoid all this bullshit, all this mental worry, all this nonsense.
Yeah, and even. I might have taken a punt. I mean, in hindsight now, see where it says bullish there. Do you know what, down in when we got on the other side of those moving averages, and you can see that we were breaking the structure of that downward trend. I might have got in back there. It looks very much like one of my trades just there. You can see where your cursor is. Oh, that's my cursor. Sorry. Just drop down. Yeah, see where we broke there, around there where we came out.
You want to take over? I can give you back your screen. I'll just give you back your screen.
Oh, all right. Just give me a second. Why not? What the hell? We were looking at the weekly time frame, right? Yeah. So right. Yeah. It was there. Yeah. It looks better in black, to be honest. Maybe I'll flick it to black. You can really see it.
Come to the dark side.
Especially now because I left my glasses in Malaysia, so this is really hard for me to see. But see how we came down during the red wave, and then at this point here, when we put in that MRI buy, and then I think you had it on the daily time frame, right? But
I did.
Just getting out.
Yeah.
But it looks the same to me. Either way, I'll put it on the daily just so people aren't confused. That point there, where we were respecting those, is what I said, respecting those moving averages, staying below them, and then here when we as Blue might say, jump the creek or whatever like that, and got above that sort of area there. I reckon in here, getting above that 200, I probably would have entered there. Okay, if not sort of in that range that just before that. But to get out of back to the point, to get out of the trade back here, stay out of the trade for weeks on end when it's going to zero and blah blah blah. The price recovers and you can jump back in at a better, in this case, a better price. If you just respected the wave changing color, then just at a 2% variable there, and you're back in. I see the same thing happening here, where we can get out of the trade back at 110 or whatever it was. This might go on for 3 months. This comes all the way down. We get back in at the same prices as we are today, or at lower prices. This could turn into a bear market, and we can get back in at 80,000. Who knows? It's all unknown. But it's a systematic approach that it's not going to fail you. It's not a failed trade to get in at 96, get out at 110, and get back in at 122. and it goes up higher. That's not a fair trade in anyone's books. Back to you, mate.
100%. Yeah. So I guess to kind of round things off here, it's wait and see. It's wait and see. You know, I'm optimistic still on the alts. However, you know, I'm talking spot positions. I'm not using leverage. I never use leverage on alts personally. You know, if you're going to do that, you just got to have a very different strategy than what I'm doing. So I'm building altcoin positions for the first time in this bull market. I am overall optimistic on higher prices for Bitcoin, but I am kind of expecting that washout to happen. And I know that the alt positions are going to go down during that washout, but it's the recovery, it's the shaking up of the order book, it's the reshuffling of it's the flushing out of leverage, the reduction of open interest. All of these factors kind of bundle together to a bullish environment that comes out of that. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. I think we will close things out there. So
let's look at the portfolios. I want to see how the portfolios are shaping.
Well, your portfolio is in short position, and I don't have that queued up. Mine was back above. I'm basically break even. I mean, it's $200 down. Or no, so $300 down. Not break even, down 7%. I was up 7%, now back down 7%. I'm giving my alts a lot more room, and I don't have your stuff queued up.
Oh yeah, because it's on that exchange. Yeah. Well, I'm still short. I'm doing all the short positions. I had a look. Give me back the screen share just as I go through it.
Yeah.
I can bring them up on here. So this is the line is where I entered the short. Okay, so I entered these shorts back, you know, I did them all on the same time on the 25th of August. They were immediately in profit, in loss, and now this one's back in the black and the SUI trade.
It's the same as mine, just in reverse. I was up, and then I was down, up again, down again.
You're exactly the opposite. The Ethereum trade, I'm in profit on. The Link trade, I should be in very good profit on, in fact. The XRP trade, which I was in really good profit on, then in negative, it should be back in profit now. And Doge, I think I'm not in profit yet. No, Doge had a really good rally, so I'm underwater on the Doge trade, but the rest of them, and they're 2x leveraged. I think my portfolio will be in the black overall, despite the Doge position here. And I do want to mention as well this trade that we put on, that's dropping down a bit too. I think it'll come back down to the 30 simple moving average. But Baloo and I put on a huge big trade on this, a very, very, very large size position. And that got to as high as nearly 70% up. And it's falling back away now. Keep an eye on this, but I think we'll come back and retouch on this 30 simple here on the daily, and then should be able to recover from that. So I don't want to give back 70% of that profit we made. So let's keep an eye on that. I'm throwing it back to you now in the studio.
All right. Sounds good. We'll close things out there. It's good to be back. I'm back in a stable environment. I'm not traveling across Japan. It was amazing. It was awesome to hang out with you IRL. But it's good to be back in studio. It's good to be back with, a consistent schedule and routine. So expect a lot more content from us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to enter into the trading competition, sign up with Bitget and get up to $50,000 in sign up rewards. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.